Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome to Kaisers Kastle. First, before I get this going, I wanted to touch on something that I want to make sure everybody knows my clear stance on. As a military policeman in the Army, our motto was assist, protect, and defend our own. And it didn't mean defend and assist and protect only our own people in the MP Corps. It meant every soldier, any sailor, airman, Air Force guy, or Marine. And it also meant, coasties. Anybody who was in our general area, we assisted, protected, and defended. And that meant something to all of us. Okay? So when I say assist, protect, defend our own, you have to take it for what that indoctrination was. And I think it's a good indoctrination. That indoctrination teaches you something called extreme ownership. It's extreme responsibility. You're held to a higher standard. You have to be able to take your responsibility to the extreme level. And you have to be able to take that extreme responsibility. It's not something anybody should take lightly, because extreme leadership demands it. Because as a military policeman, and I was one in both the Army and the Marine Corps, you had the ability to end careers. You had the ability to screw up a serviceman's life forever. And in wartime, you had the extreme responsibility that if somebody ran away from a battle, this is an argument I have had with civilian cops. I was a civilian cop, and this is how this happened. They would say, oh, well, military police aren't real cops. And I said, well, what's a real cop? And they would try to trigger off the same shit that military policemen do. And I would say, yeah, but can you shoot somebody when they're running away from a fight? And they'd always go back to, a gunfight. And they'd always run back to, well, yeah, he's got a gun. He could be a danger to somebody. And I'd say, no, one of your own in a gunfight. Can you shoot them for running away? Can you shoot them from deserting? And they'd be like, no, that's stupid. Yeah, I know it's stupid. But guess what? Military policemen in a combat zone can do exactly that. They can execute people for desertion. That's extreme responsibility. So you have to have extreme ownership on it. With that being said, my thoughts and prayers go out to a group of individuals who I know. It's now hit the news or whatever happened. I don't know how this happened. It was just introduced to me yesterday. I feel bad for the people involved, and they only need prayers. The gossip needs to actually stop, because this does nothing but divide those people. But what I want to say is that you need to think at these times, when problems happen, and they'll always happen, folks. There's nothing that's going to stop problems from happening. People are people. You need to, after the act, watch what their response is. Do they take extreme ownership? do they take the responsibility extremely. They don't blame others, even if they can. They blame themselves for their failures. I'll give you an example. This is a personal example. Only the people on Combat Outpost Talakon know about this. I had 2 cooks in the LSA, Afghanis, and both of them cut each other with knives in some little dispute, whatever. But they were yelling they were going to kill each other. I get told this by the LSA leader, the guard leader. So I tell the guard leader, bring them into me. I also tell him, bring both knives. I want to see them. He brings them. He's got them wrapped in a damn cloth for whatever reason. I have no idea. Kitchen knives. I take them from him. And I got the 2 guys in front of me. And there's army out there and, you know, big army everywhere and whatever. Like I said, it was a combat outpost. And I said, you guys want to kill each other? My translator translates. And they're like, yeah. I give them both the knives. I stepped back. I said, kill each other. I want to see this. And then they're looking at each other with the knives in their hands. I'm like, kill each other. Army's running away. They don't want to see this shit. And guess what? Both of them dropped the knives. And then gave each other hugs. Translator says they're talking about, because I don't speak, you know, I can't remember, Dari, that's what they spoke. And he's like, look, they're calling each other brothers again, and they were crying and all this weird crap. And I'm like, then, you know, don't bring this shit to me. You guys handle your shit. Look, if they would have killed each other, I was the one who told them to. Guess what? I was ready for the ramifications of that, because I was not going to be protected by the U.S. Army. I was working for an Afghan company. I knew that I would be subject to Afghan law. That's extreme ownership. But I'm also not going to allow 2 cooks to destroy the discipline of my guard force. With that being said, I've given you an example. I've told you my thought process. You may think it harsh, but it is true in fact. And indeed. Now we can sidestep that. Anybody that does not exercise extreme ownership, they're nothing more in actuality than an empty suit. You know, that is where you have to worry about things. You can't always fall for empty suits, and the only way you know it is how they respond during the bad times. And honestly, with bad times, especially stuff that's like tabloidish, it could be made up. It could be all bullshit. It could be lies. And only the court system or whatever judicial process is going to suss it out. That's the only way to know. But the way of the warrior, when you're dancing through the struggle of life, the way of the warrior knows the only way to avoid being an empty suit, in all honesty, is to stand for something, is to be something, to know something, to not give up. And the bad will reveal the truth. Are you going to be from the blood of our fathers? And are you going to give your blood for the blood of our sons? Are you going to disgrace your ancestors? Spit on their graves? Or are you actually going to stand for something that might live longer and echo through the centuries, through time, space? I say it all the time. Combat has a rhythm, a rhyme, a space, and time. This is a fact. It can't be bargained with. It cannot be debated. With that being said, the way of the warrior is extreme ownership, is extreme leadership, and extreme responsibility. You take the extreme. Now, extreme ownership, a lot of people will say Jocko said it, but he will even say it is a military thing. It's the only thing that matters, because that says everything about a man. You cannot be a man and tell everybody, oh, it was Joey Blow over there and Jenny Joe. No, it was you. Even if they were at fault, you own it. They may have a part of it, but they don't own it. You do, because as a leader, and I'm not a leader, I was at the LSA, I don't lead shit now except for my family. And I'm telling you, if any of them fucked up, I would be the first one saying it was my fault. I failed. That is the key. You want to know the key to life? That's the entire key. The way of the warrior is not a joke. It's not a meme. I'm not selling you some meme elixir. I'm selling you something that is the way to build men. With that being said, stop the gossip, stomp the floor tiles. They're all loose. That's okay. They're always going to be loose. They'll tighten up with more stomping. Dance the dance. If you don't dance the dance, and you don't dance through the struggle, then you fell. You fail your ancestors, and you fail your progeny. So at this time, realize the only thing you can pray to your ancestors, to your God, whatever you believe in, when there is a time of strife and struggle, is for men to act like men. Pray for everybody affected. Pray for the truth. These things I will tell you. These things I know. These things are true. Be a traditionalist because your ancestors knew this. Not because it's something that somebody thought up, that somebody wanted to make. Traditionalism transcends that. It means the stuff that Evola wrote on. That's getting pretty esoteric. I don't want to get into it. But read Julius Evola if you actually want to know what traditionalism is. You have to throw away some of his stuff, like you'll see what I mean. There's some degenerate stuff in there, but throw it away. Basically, you need to see what he says. Not going to get lectury, not going to get preachy. But what I will say, I can't say it any better than this guy did in a movie.
Are you guys seriously this calm?
Relax, Stuart. It's classic switcheroo. I give him money, he gives us cookies.
You ever do anything that doesn't end up in a standoff, Cal?
I'm an international criminal. It always ends like this. I met my wife at one of these things.
I say that tongue in cheek. But in all honesty, you cannot worry about what others think of you. You might be thought of as an international criminal. Look at what's going on with 2 women and a guy in England. It's a joke. Thought criminals are now real. Isn't that funny? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the way of the warrior. Because it will bite you in the ass if you're not. At this time, that's all I have to say. And in all honesty, shuff out, and I will not discuss this again.